Hello everyone, this is Nidhi. I'm back again and today I'm here to talk about legumes and lentils. And in my previous video I did mention that I'm going to talk and cook and show some recipes. I have a green moong dal legumes, and then I have some yellow tur, and this is called also the orange dal, and it's also called the white dal. And let's get into details about lentils and why they're important for our body, and especially for a healthy gut. Now, legumes have plenty of nutritional properties. It increases your absorption of nutrients much better in our GI tract. It has plenty amounts of B12, magnesium, iron, and zinc. And it makes also foods easy to digest. So for example, when you cook lentils with certain other complex ingredients like spices, it just makes it more easy to absorb into your body, and it also prevents our gut lining from getting eroded by eating a lot of processed foods, which most of us do eat. Now, as a kid, I grew up in India, and anything green I was pretty much not eating. So I was talking about how I was growing up eating a lot of legumes and lentils, and I had a tough time eating a lot of greens. So my mom had to mask a lot of ingredients to cover up the greens, and so I could consume a much healthier food rather than just eating too many carbs and other junk. All right, so let's begin into talking about how to sprout. Have some dry lentils right here before they even being soaked, and they are pretty dry, and we need to plump it up, and for that you need to pour some water. Usually I use a room temperature water, and you pour enough water and then you let it soak in a warm dark place in a corner of a kitchen. You can leave it on a countertop on the corner, and you just leave it pretty much like that. And after 24 hours, the next day, when you can pretty much rinse this water and add more water, and you can see the volume rising as it starts soaking and absorbing the water. It's going to plump up and absorb all the water, and it's going to start a germinating process. Now let's talk into the details about sprouting and why we need to do sprouting. And this is one example I'm doing. Next time I'm going to do other sprouting techniques with other seeds, and you can even do nuts, and also not just lentils or legumes. You can do other products too. But I'm going to start with my favorite, which is this moong dal lentil, and I'm going to show a recipe soon of how to create moong dal crepes. So sprouting is something where we need to talk into detail and what is the mechanism that's happening inside sprouting. Now, sprouting is something where you have to understand it's a seed, and it has many nutrients in it. So you have to unlock these nutrients out. So it's almost like opening up a treasure chest, and you start a germinating process. All right. Pretty much the seed is dormant, and it starts becoming a live plant as it's soaking up in the water. And it has these tight anti-nutrients that are locked inside it. There are also, one such example is a phytic acid, but I can talk about it later on. Anti-nutrients are like a castaway, and it has to change inside out when you eat that seed. So when you're soaking these legumes, you're trying to release these anti-nutrients out, and typically anti-nutrients are hard to digest for our gut. So once we sprout, it's better to semi-cook it or cook it, so you can break these anti-nutrients so we can digest it better. Now, most of our foods what we eat are very acidic forming, and that's why we need to eat legumes and lentils. They're more alkaline to your body. So when you are sprouting, pretty much you are activating the germinating process. So you're like pretty much eating a tiny plant versus just eating a seed. So that's how you're getting the nutrients into your body. It's because you are mimicking that seed with the germinating process, trying to create these nutrients. So you are letting these nutrients come out. So you are almost fooling the seed that you're growing into a plant, but you're consuming it. So that's the benefits of sprouting. Now let's talk more about sprouting. And Sprouting, and I was mentioning about phytic acid, which is released when sprouting is being done. Phytic acid actually binds with calcium, magnesium, iron, copper, and zinc, and makes it hard and impossible for you to absorb those nutrients. And what it does is it also irritates your digestive system. By sprouting grains and legumes or seeds, we are basically neutralizing the phytic acid very effectively, and you will also neutralize enzyme inhibitors. This is one biggest advantages I think in my mind, and I have started sprouting some of my legumes since phytic acid in some of these legumes is hard to neutralize. And soaking, what it does, the soaking with water, it diminishes some of the fat content also, and it will help you to convert the dense vegetable protein into simple amino acids, which is very crucial. So that's why when you soak these over a period of 24 or 48 hours, or even even 8 or 10 hours to even just cook any of these lentils, it makes it easy for digestion. The more complex carbohydrates in the foods will also start breaking down into simple glucose molecules. So that is very crucial. Most people have a lot of issue with legumes and lentils causing a lot of gas, intestinal gas. And I have a lot of patients who come to me and they say that, they have so many issues with beans and legumes, and they're not able to eat a lot of it when I mention it during my consultations. Well, sprouting helps to break down all these issues, so that's what I specify, and I'm doing this video mainly, for my patients to have a perspective of why sprouting is important. Now, let's talk about raw foods. I think not all sprouts should be eaten raw. That's my personal, with my research and what I've learned, I've seen that not all sprouts can be eaten raw. This moong dal sprouts, you can very much eat it raw, and you can also cook it this way in form of sprouted moong dal crepes. You can eat it in form of because it can be cooked on a pan, and you could eat that too. And I was actually mentioning about raw foods, and how certain raw legumes cannot be eaten because they can be sometimes hard to digest when raw. Now I would like to also warn people that it doesn't, just because sprouts are good for health, it doesn't mean you consume that in large quantities. Overconsumption of raw sprouted grains can have a lot of irritating substances in large quantities. Now, raw sprouted grains contain certain ingredients, again, that's going to the sprouts secrete certain ingredients, also preventing animals from eating the tender shoots. So it's like a defense mechanism. So we need to almost mask and try to break down that defense mechanism for us to consume and benefit from sprouting. And that's why we break that defense mechanism by cooking the sprouts. You can semi-cook it in a wok, you can toss it with some spices, or you can completely pressure cook it, or you can grind it up and cook it as thin crepes. So these are the various ways we can, I'm going to show soon one of the techniques. Now, one recipe is this moong dal crepe recipe, and I have actually soaked moong dal, about a cup of moong dal with 1/4 cup of rice. You can use basmati rice, and then I have added a tablespoon of coriander powder, and some salt to taste, and some ginger, and 4 to 5 green chilies. I make it spicy, so I really add a lot of green chilies to it. And that's how I have grinded it up all in a blender. I've blended it all together, and this is how the consistency is. As you can see, it's converted from this, and after being soaked and sprouted, it's made into this batter. And we can pour this batter on a pan and create some healthy crepes. Let's do that soon, all right? Hello everyone, so let's have some yummy crepes. That's what my kids are waiting for. It's lunchtime here, and we can't wait to make it. And here is our lovely batter, which I was talking about. It's a moong dal crepes is what I say. And this is a pan which I use quite a bit for crepes. We also call it dosas, and it's a nice thick bottom pan, and it has a nice stable handle, and I can have some even temperature distribution to make some thin. If you want, you can make crispy crepes. If you want, you can make some thicker crepes. Let's begin with our moong dal crepe recipe. All right. So I have the batter right here. It's in a pouring consistency. You can see that, and my pan is heating up over here, and we have a medium to high flame, and we need to wait till the pan is nice and sizzling hot, and that's when we pour the crepe, and I will show how it's to be done. And in the meantime, let's have some chat about moong dal and its nutrients and its nutritional information, and why it's good for our health. Now, moong dal has a good amount of protein and carbs, and it has a lot of vitamins, and it's a very high protein intake, especially for vegetarians. So let's begin. You can hear the pan sizzling. Okay, so I poured it, and then you do it this way. So you go around and around in nice neat circles. So the batter is kind of making a thin round shape. This is what we need to do. All right, there we go. This looks perfect, right, Nishka? Are you feeling hungry? Let's start eating soon. Now I'm so hungry. Now this is some oil. You can use some vegetable oil or olive oil, or this is a Mediterranean blend of olive oil with grapeseed oil. All right, so just sprinkle some oil on top, just a little bit, not too much. It's a very healthy crepe. You can eat it with any kind of toppings and dippings and sauces, and chutneys is what we say. We use a lot of chutneys to eat with it. There we go. Now that's enough oil, and then you just leave that aside and let it cook slowly. All right, it's being cooked right now. All right, so let's wait and watch till it's getting cooked. You can see it's getting nice and brown. We need to wait till it gets nice and brown and crispy. That's when we can be able to turn it around. So we have to flip it once it's crispy. So we need to not touch it. We need to wait till it's completely well done and crispy. Otherwise you will see that the crepe will start tearing apart, and it doesn't look good. So this might take about 4 minutes, maybe sometimes 5 minutes. Since this is our first crepe, it might take a little longer, but once you start doing more and more crepes, the temperature starts getting really hot, and we have to be really quick, and that's when we can spin out quite a few crepes. Now to accompaniment with this crepe, I made a tomato chutney, and I will talk about the recipe next time. All right, but this is all about moong dal crepes. All right, we have it nice and sizzling. See that? I can see some brown coloring right here, so it's cooked nice in the center, but we still have to have it cooked all around the corner too. It has to become nice and crispy, so that's when it tastes well. All right, everyone, this is a moong dal crepe. As you can see, it looks yummy and delicious. And to accompany with this, I have made some tomato chutney. All right, and it's made up of tomatoes, onions, lots of spices, green chilies, and you can eat this with the crepe by dipping in the sauce and by eating it. All right, so let's have some. Put that in a plate, a little bit of it. It's really spicy, so I eat a little bit of that, and then you kind of dip it in, and let's put this in my mouth. That's yummy. Oh my gosh. As you can see, there's literally no oil in it, very little oil. It's so healthy, it's so light, crispy. You can make it crispy, you can make it soft. However consistency you want, you can have it. depending on the heat, you can adjust that. Now let's get some, I'm chewing still. Okay, let's talk more. Now let's talk about some health concepts about moong dal and why it's good for our body. Well, moong dal was first was known in India and domesticated way back in 1500 BC. And they're small cylindrical beans with the green hull in it. And we also get the split moong dals, which is the yellow dal is without the hull. And this moong dal has a sweet and astringent and kind of cooling effect according to Ayurveda, which is an Indian form of naturopathic medicine, which is Ayurvedic concepts, and it's used quite a bit. Moong dal is very important in cleansing our body, in removing toxins out of our bloodstream. Now, these beans are high source of protein, fiber. They have a lot of vitamins, vitamin A, C, E, B6, and B12, thiamine, quite a bit. And lots of minerals like calcium, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, zinc, copper, quite a bit of minerals in it. Now what it does is moong dal, it balances a healthy blood sugar level. So it's highly recommended for diabetic patients. It is also good for people who are trying to maintain healthy cholesterol. That's because it helps in the oxidation process of the bad cholesterol, which is the LDL. It helps to bind it and get it out of our system, and it blocks it off without it being getting oxidated. All right, so that's some of the concepts on moong dal, and it is high in antioxidants, and it's my favorite dal. I cook with it all the time. Now this is one recipe, which is our crepes, and we are going to also talk about other recipes, which is cooking moong dal with my pressure cooker. So that would be our next recipe. All right, everyone, it was good to meet everyone, and subscribe my channel, and I'm going to post a lot of healthy tips and techniques. Like and subscribe.